for optimal health. We are so glad that you joined us this day for our new episode. Remember, this season we are looking at gluten-free cooking, right? And very important, remember our cookbook is still available. You can purchase one for yourself or for a friend at www.uzimalifestylecenter.org, and you can go to the shop link. Here is where you can get the book. Please also remember that Uzima Lifestyle Center, we are offering a number of classes: diabetes prevention and management, hypertension prevention and management, and all chronic diseases. We recently have launched out in cancer treatment for people who have been just diagnosed or people who have been diagnosed a little while. We have a robust protocol that we are following. So please refer your friends and your relatives to us, and we'll be happy to be of service to them. Just recently, we had our wellness experience, and what a joyful experience that was. So please remember to join us the next time you hear about the Uzima Wellness Experience. You can't afford to miss it. For tonight, we are making tofu and walnut loaf with quinoa. Tofu and walnut loaf with quinoa. So yes, we are preparing organic tricolor quinoa, and this is the brand I like, right? Now, I'll tell you the benefits of the quinoa and how to prepare it. First of all, we need to remember that quinoa has a bittery kind of taste. So before you cook it, you need to wash it, right? But let me tell you the benefits before we start the cooking. Quinoa is a great whole grain, as you can expect. So it has a lot of fiber. Look at it here. It looks small, but it's really great. A great amount of fiber, and it helps you to have optimal digestion. It helps to steady your blood sugar, and as can be expected, it helps to lower your cholesterol. Among the other potential benefits of the quinoa, it's an excellent grain, and it's a wonderful option for those people who have celiac disease. So these are some of the benefits and so much more of quinoa. Quinoa is a great substitute for rice, all right? So this is the brand that I like to use because it's organic. So here we go. We are going to ensure that we wash this quinoa. Now we have the water on the fire. We are bringing that to the boil. And as we bring it to the boil, all we are going to add is some tamari, right? This is unfermented soy sauce because quinoa has a very bland flavor. So you have to put in some stuff to, give it a great flavor. So we're going to add some of our tamari to the water here. And then I'm going to add our own Uzima blend of spices. This one is jerk seasoning. Yes. And then we are going to add, give it a real good flavor there. And yes, we are going to add our herbs and spices. This is another Uzima blend, as you can see here. So we are adding those to the water to give it really nice flavor. So remember I said wash the quinoa thoroughly. So we are going to do just that as the water is boiling. So we're going to add the rest. Now you notice we didn't put too much liquid because we don't want this to be too soft. We want everything to be blended in nicely. So we are just going to pulverize it a wee bit more. it, so we are going to transfer it back to our bowl. Gotta make sure everything is out of here so that when we do our blending, everything will be in there. Let me take a little moment and just start blending this up. Now, I forgot to show you the kind of tofu we're going to use. We are using. It is organic firm tofu, right? And you just crumble it. All right. I will take a few minutes and tell you about the benefits of the ingredients. Okay. So we have everything here. Let me continue to take all of this good stuff out. And I want you to particularly look at the consistency here. Okay. We gotta make sure that we are blending this really well. All right. So to this, we are going to add our breadcrumbs. You can just use whole grain bread and you can make your own breadcrumbs. So we're gonna blend this in. And just give me a quick second here. I need to put a little more water in my quinoa. Our quinoa is washed. And now we are going to make sure that our water is boiling. Oh, yes, it is. And we are going to add the quinoa. Let me just bring this over here so that we wouldn't make a mess. So we just add the quinoa. And you're going to cook this for a good 20-25 minutes. When it's fully cooked, the grains are going to be, you know, they're going to, you know, swell a little bit and then they're going to open up. So here we have our quinoa. I'm going to put the cover on. Now, while the quinoa is cooking, we have to focus now on our tofu, walnut, roaster, you can call it a loaf. Let me get my spoon here. So actually, what we have in here, we have blended, in the interest of time, we have blended everything together. But when you're making it, one of the things you can do, you can put the walnut, chopped walnut, put it in your food processor or your blender, and you add your seasoning. So we have all our different seasonings here. So I'm gonna put some of this in here. And we are going to add, we have rosemary here. We have dry thyme here. You can put whatever seasoning you like. We have parsley here. And this is a blend of Italian seasoning, right? So we are adding all of those things and then we are going to blend it up. Let me tell you about the ingredients. So you have 2 ounces of walnut, 1 onion that is quartered. You have 250 grams of dried or roasted red peppers. You have your tofu. Now, To add more flavor to it, you can also add some smoked tofu, but I just like to use the plain old tofu. Here we have our yeast extract, right? And here we have all our dried ingredients that we have already put in there. Our dried thyme or marjoram. We have the rosemary dried. We have basil, sage. And here we have our vegetable stock. And we're going to add just a little bit of it in here. And because of the vegetable stock that is mostly, we added some tamari to it, so we will not add any more liquid at this time. We'll just keep on blending it. And one of the things you must remember, because it's gluten-free cooking, we are going to use gluten-free flour. But you need something to bind everything together, so we are going to use the chia seed. Now, it's important for you to soak the chia, so it looks like this, right? So we are going to put the chia in, and we are going to blend everything together. Now, as you can see here, our quinoa is starting to cook, so I'm going to take off the cover for a little bit. So let me get these out of our way. Okay, so we are going to add the other things to this. Remember, we have, you can add whatever you like. So we put some carrots, some sweet peppers, some celery, whatever you like you can add. It's all about flavors. Okay, so let's continue cooking here. So we are making sure this is well blended. Now, the last thing we are going to add is our nutritional yeast. And as I'm adding this in, I am going to talk to you. This is our chia seeds, right? And we use the chia as a binder. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the tofu. Tofu is a good source of protein. We all know that. It provides protective plant chemicals. It is rich in lots of nutrients. Now, here are some of the very important things about tofu. It may alleviate perimenopausal symptoms, the hot flashes and the discomfort when you're going through menopause or just before menopause, all right? It may support your heart health, which is great. It would help to manage your cholesterol, and that is something we always need to be mindful of. It supports your blood sugar, right? It helps with blood sugar management, and that's very important as well. And it supports your bone health. As we get older, our bones get a little brittle, and we can suffer osteopenia that, if not treated, it would progress to osteoporosis. So those are the benefits of the tofu. So the consistency is a little dry. So I did some vegetable broth here, and I'm going to add it so that we get a little more moisture. And then we're going to make sure that everything is nicely blended. Now you notice my spoon is standing very firmly in the mixture. This gives you an idea that it's well blended together, all right? So we have our walnuts in there. So let me talk a little bit about the benefits of the walnut. Now, walnuts are rich in many nutrients. They deliver healthy fats. We do know that. Walnuts can help your gut as well as your heart health. They help to reduce blood pressure. Did you know that? They can also benefit your brain. If you look at a walnut generally, you see it looks a little bit like the brain, so it's great for brain health. Walnuts offer cancer protection. Did you know that? You see, God has given us all the things that we need to stay in health. Now, walnuts also play a very important part in weight regulation. If you want to manage your weight, make sure you're eating some walnut at least 3 to 4 times a week. Now, here is something about walnut that you may not know. Walnut can improve the sperm vitality. So this is for the men folk. So incorporate some walnut into your diet. All right. So here we have everything mixed up. All right, and we talked about the quinoa already. So everything is well blended up. Now we have our pan that is already greased. So because it's a loaf we are making, we are putting it in a nice loaf pan. If you do have parchment paper, you can line your pan with parchment paper as well. So we're making sure that we have our pan nicely filled to the top because you want a nice solid loaf. I like to press it down some to make sure that it's really firm. Yes, so here we have it. Our tofu walnut loaf. Let me just remind you again that because we are doing gluten-free cooking, on the regular tofu walnut loaf, you can add your regular flour, right? Your all-purpose flour. But because this is gluten-free, we are using gluten-free flour. And so to get the binding power, we are using chia seeds, right? Very important to remember that. So our pan is ready to go. So ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. Our nicely cooked quinoa. See how nice and fluffy it is? And then we have our walnut tofu loaf with some tomato sauce and a bed of lettuce. This is a complete meal. Here you have your grain, your quinoa, and then you have your protein, your tofu, and your walnut with a little bit of tomato sauce that is going to give a nice little flavor. And here you have your spring mix with tomatoes. You can add whatever other raw vegetables you would like to have in your salad. And here you have it, voila, a complete meal. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you that at Uzima we have our seasoning. This is the spice and herb seasoning for all your delicious meal, especially if you're going to do like your whole grain pasta. And here for my Caribbean folks, we have our jerk seasoning here. And we are going to be putting out more and more seasoning as time goes on. So again, you can get this from our Uzima store, or you can get it in person by contacting me. And remember, our email address is uzimalifestylecenter@yahoo.com, uzimalifestylecenter@yahoo.com, or if you'd like to visit our store, it's www.uzimalifestylecenter.org/shop. Also remember, our cookbook is still available. Simple plant-based recipes. Get one for yourself or for a friend. It was a pleasure cooking with you today. I hope you will try this recipe. Leave a comment on our page so that we can know how yours came out. Remember, eat for optimal health because your body is God's temple. Thanks again for joining us. We are going to see you in the next 2 weeks. Cheers to your good health.